All right. Do 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 do. It's the wrong music. I don't know this music, but
It's so great. The hair came out so good. Nice.
And he can't wear the mask at the same time, but Matthew balances on his arm really nicely.
Excellent. Very nice. Gwendolyn still only has a nose.
That's fine. You work. I don't. Well, I mean, I Hausfrau, but
you do things that require effort, but art is one of them. That is one of the primaries.
Indeed. Yeah, I was quite pleased with how the mask turned out. And it fits on his little head. And I just discovered here in the art cave that I've got these. So I might make him a jewel too. Make him
nice.
Early early Morpheus, seeing as how when the jewel breaks, he doesn't ever recreate it, does he?
I don't think so. I think that's the point where he realizes that he's too dependent on the tools, so he stops using them. Or like takes the power back into himself or whatever.
Right. I'm embarrassed to admit it, being such a huge fan of the show. I was a moderate fan of the comic because there were so many. I only read through the 4th graphic novel because there were so many bits that just traumatized the hell out of me, and I was like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, no, the comic was too gruesome for me. I later found out that apparently a lot of people recommend you start reading at like the 4th book and skip like the rest, which is I think I gave up on the 3rd one. So yeah, I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
I own the first 4, and I hear great things about them. Well, of course, the storytelling is always going to be top notch. Oh, Neil Gaiman and Amanda Palmer are getting divorced.
That's too bad.
None of our business, but it does make me sad. And Radon is in trouble because he keeps losing legs. So he's what we're going to work on today.
Oh man, I feel like once you get the legs built up to the point that one is, they should stop falling off.
This will be the thing that helps. But it's an incredibly time-consuming process, and I will have that out, and I will be in order to figure out where we were. I watched the last 5 minutes of our last episode, and let me just reiterate, we are a delight. I was laughing at jokes that we made 2 weeks ago as if I hadn't just heard them, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun.
I was flipping through my sketchbook for something the other day, and I ran across Batmandolf, which I had forgotten. Do you want to see him again?
Show me Batmandolf. Oh.
Yes, I don't even remember what I was doing. Oh yeah, I was working on an illustration for a project I might start, but I'm flipping through and all of a sudden, ta-da!
Yes. Oh yes, I miss you, Batmandolf. Oh. Abby wanted to work on some beadwork today, because of a presentation on the Iroquois and the fact that the Iroquois do really specific beadwork. And I was like, well, I've got beads. You can do this. So I bust out all the seed beads. And then he's like, don't wander off. Come do this with me because it's grueling. And I'm like, I don't know how to, I know how to do what I know how to do with seed beads. So I start making a necklace. And then I'm like, oh, I've missed this. I miss making bead stuff. I should make this for a present for someone for solstice. Like, yeah, solstice present. And then I'm like, no one I know wears necklaces. Like nobody. We just don't do it. Even I don't.
Right? I wanted to be like, no, I do. And then I was like, no, I don't. I only wear pajamas most of the time.
Right? And likewise. I wear my pentacle when I remember to, but otherwise stuff around the throat. None of us really care for it.
Yeah, this t-shirt actually is I have some regrets, but
I cut all mine off. In fact, this is one where I just cut off the collar on all my t-shirts. And then I'm like, some of the friends I have are into collars, but these are people who prefer to present androgynous. And a seed bead necklace is a little too effeminate for any of those people. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, you'd have to get some kind of other thing going on to make it androgynous-y.
Right?
Put the beads on leather or something.
Mom might like it. I think mom still wears jewelry. Don't watch this, Mom.
I love how you said that after you came. Oh.
So we had just gone through Stop Trying to Make Imrahil a Thing.
Yes, sure, yes.
Legolas and Gimli
Which
have entered Minas Tirith, and Legolas is impressed at the elfishness of Imrahil, as if we gave a shit.
let me see here. Blah, 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 blah. The man looked up and wondered if the coming of the king had been but a hello? Oh, she's gone. Well, I'll try and figure out where we were while she gets back. I was like looking down at the book, going, where were we? And then, hello. So we were at the bit where Legolas says, "That is a fair lord and a great captain of men." That one.
Before that, when
before
they're
that.
still talking to him, like it's the first. It's like 1.5 paragraphs into the chapter. Legolas and Gimli have just been like, stonework, gardens, trees. Yeah, this place needs it all.
Yes, the people of the wood shall bring him birds that sing and trees that do not die.
Yeah, good shit.
Right about there.
And then Imrahil approaches and Legolas bowed low because something Imrahil.
Oh, for he saw that here indeed was one who had elven blood in his veins.
That's the one.
Stop trying to make Imrahil happen. We don't. I swear, this is all right. I'm making either so 2 options: either shirts that say "Who the hell is Imrahil," or shorts with "Who the hell is Imrahil" on the butt.
All right, you do that, and I will do a quaint little cheeky chibi version of Denethor with the words, "I don't have a Palantir."
We also need Damn It Ecthelion shirts.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, that needs to be on a bumper sticker.
with a picture of like Minas Tirith, or no, with a picture of Denethor on fire going over the edge.
We'll just do the Chibi Denethor collection. This is your fault, Ecthelion.
Yeah. So Legolas bows to him, and he says, "Hail, Lord! It is long since the people of Nimrodel left the woodlands of Lorien, and yet still one may see that not all sailed from Amroth's haven west over water. So it is said in the lore of my
Spoilers.
land." What?
Spoilers, Legolas.
Spoilers, God.
Yeah.
"So it is said in the lore of my land," said the prince, who? "Yet never has one of the fair folk been seen there for years beyond count, and I marvel to see one here now in the midst of sorrow and war. What do you seek?" "Not from around here, are you?"
What do you want?
Fun fact, Dol Amroth is the banjo capital of Gondor. "I am one of the 9 companions who set out with Mithrandir from Imladris," said Legolas. "And with this dwarf, my friend, I came with the Lord Aragorn. But now we wish to see our friends Meriadoc and Peregrine, who are in your keeping, we are told." "You will find them in the houses of healing." Said Imrahil.
No. Nuh-uh. No.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
Nope, not even a little bit. Because it's awful.
I thought it was a pretty good Southern accent.
Yes, it was.
Everyone's a critic. "It will be enough if you send one to guide us, Lord," said Legolas, "for Aragorn sends this message to you. He does not wish to enter the city again at this time. Yet there is need for the captains to hold council at once, and he prays that you and Eomer of Rohan will come down to his tents as soon as may be. Mithrandir is already there." This conversation is going to be intense.
Oh, that was better.
Thank you. "We will come," said Imrahil, and they parted with courteous words.
Yo, bye. Love you.
Peace.
Peace. Ciao, Bella.
"That is a fair lord and a great captain of men," said Legolas. "Okay, wind your tongue in, dude. Jeez.
Right? Fuck.
If Gondor has such men still in these days of fading, great must have been its glory in the days of its rising." "And doubtless the good stonework is the older, and was wrought in the first building," said Gimli. "It is ever so with the things that men begin. There is a frost in spring or a blight in summer, and they fail of their promise." I resemble that remark.
Right? Yeah. Thanks for calling me out there, Gimli.
The stonework of Minas Tirith is like when you're trying to write happy birthday on a sign and you have a really big H. Yes.
Birthday.
Yes. Birthday. The Y is just like an I with a tiny little. Yeah, anyway.
Yep.
"Yet seldom do they fail of their seed," said Legolas. "What?"
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Damn. Leggy, my buddy. You're a little thirsty today.
Take it down about 20% there, bud.
Right.
"And that will lie in the dust and rot to spring up again in times and places unlooked for.
Mm-hmm.
The deeds of men will outlast us, Gimli." Are you breaking up with me? "And yet come to naught in the end but might have beens, I guess," said the dwarf. "To that the elves know not the answer," said Legolas.
I love
That's
how
just
that's how
like
they end
your
every
opinion.
argument. Like they're like, no, I can't speak to that. Maybe, dude. Look,
Maybe.
a bird.
With that the servant of the prince came and led them to the houses of healing, and there they found their friends in the garden, and their meeting was a merry one. For a while they walked and talked, rejoicing for a brief space in peace and rest under the morning, high up in the windy circles of the city. Then, when Merry became weary, they went and sat upon the wall with the greensward of the houses of healing behind them. And away southward before them was the Anduin glittering in the sun, as it flowed away out of the sight even of Legolas, into the wide flats and green haze of Lebanon and south of Ilium.
Shit.
And now Legolas fell silent while the others talked, and he looked out against the sun, and as he gazed, he saw white seabirds beating up the river. Oh, ow! Ouch! Have you ever seen such cruelty? Look, he cried. Gulls! They're flying far inland. A wonder they are.
Ooh, ah, hoo, 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 ah, hoo,
Well, can't unhear that. A wonder they are to me and a trouble to my heart. I said seagulls. Stop it now.
No.
Never in all my life had I met them until we came to Pelargir, and there I heard them crying in the air as we rode to the battle of the ships. Then I stood still, forgetting war in Middle-earth, for their wailing voices spoke to me of the sea. The sea, alas! I have not yet beheld it, but deep in the hearts of all my kindred lies the sea-longing, which it is perilous to stir. Alas for the gulls! No peace shall I have again, under beech or under elm. Say not so, said Gimli. There are countless things still to see in Middle-earth, and great works to do. But if all the fair folk take to the havens, it will be a duller world for those who are doomed to stay. Dull and dreary indeed, said Merry. You must not go to the havens, Legolas. There will always be some folk, big or little, and even a few wise dwarves like Gimli who need you. At least I hope so. Though I feel somehow that the worst of this war is still to come. How I wish it was all over, and well over. Don't be so gloomy, cried Pippin. You hobbit!
Fucking hobbit.
The sun is shining, and here we are together for a day or two at least. I want to hear more about you all. Come, Gimli. You and Legolas have mentioned your strange journey with Strider about a dozen times already this morning. You haven't told me anything about it. The sun may shine here, said Gimli, but there are memories of that road I do not wish to recall out of the darkness. Had I known what was before me, I think that not for any friendship would I have taken the paths of the dead. Paths of the dead, said Pippin. I heard Aragorn say that, and I wondered what he could mean. Won't you tell us some more?
Come on,
I know you
stir up your
want...
trauma. Stir it. I want to know what traumatized you so badly. Was it ugly? Did it eat your face?
How bad was it, though? Not willingly, said Gimli. For upon that road I was put to shame. Gimli, Gloin's son, who had deemed himself more tough than men, and hardier under earth than any elf. Neither did I prove, but I was held to the road only by the will of Aragorn. And by the love of him also, said Legolas. For all those who come to know him come to love him after his own fashion, even the cold maiden of the Rohirrim.
Frigid bitch likes him, so he must be great.
Well, I'm also like, do you need to bring that up? Like, it's kind of a touchy subject for Eowyn.
I mean, at this point, we're dragging everyone's trauma out into the daylight, aren't we? Like, I would never talk of that. It hurt me so much. It broke my soul and my mind. Really? What was it?
It's Middle-earth Jerry Springer. It was at early morn of the day ere you came there, Merry, that we left on Harrow, and such a fear was on all the folk that none would look on our going save the Lady Eowyn, who lies now hurt in the house below. There was grief at that parting. I was grieved to behold it. I don't know what emotions are, but they seem rough, man.
Right? Damn. It made me sad.
Alas, I had heart only for myself, said Gimli. Nay, I will not speak of that journey. He fell silent, but Pippin and Merry were so eager for news that at last Legolas said, I will tell you enough for your peace, for I felt not the horror, and I feared not the shadows of men, powerless and frail as I deemed them. Okay.
Wow,
All right.
Flexy McFlexerton.
Like, Gimli's sitting there being like, I can't even talk about it. It was so terrible for me. And Legolas is like, yeah, I mean, I didn't think they were that bad. It's kind of a Ryan and Shane from Ghost Files moment.
I'm not familiar.
I
Oh,
showed
yeah,
you a couple of
you showed me.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, yep, nope. Like, I was
Yeah,
harrowed
one of
to my
them's
very soul. It was chilly.
yeah, exactly. Don't you have a bad feeling in here? No, it's kind of a nice old house. Like that's swiftly
Nope.
then. Swiftly then, he told of the haunted road under the mountains, and the dark tryst to Erech, and the great ride thence 90 leagues and 3 to Pelargir on Anduin. 4 days and nights, and on into a 5th we rode from the Black Stone, he said. And lo, in the darkness of Mordor my hope rose, for in that gloom the shadow host seemed to grow stronger, and more terrible to look upon. Some I saw riding, some striding, yet all moving with the same great speed. Silent they were, there was a gleam in their eyes. In the uplands of Lamadon they overtook our horses and swept round us, and would have passed us by if Aragorn had not forbidden them. At his command they fell back. Even the shades of men are obedient to his will, I thought. They may serve his needs yet.
I love him so much.
What a man, what a man, what
a good man, even shades obey him.
One day of light we rode, and then came the day without dawn, and still we rode on. And Kirill and Ringlow we crossed. I saw Ringlow, and my immediate thought was, Ringlow Star? And on the 3rd day we came to Linhir, above the mouth of Gilrain. And there men of Lamadon contested the fords with fell folk of Umbar and Harad, who had sailed up the river. Defenders and foes alike gave up the battle and fled when we came, crying out that the king of the dead was upon them. Only Angbor, lord of Lamadon, had the heart to abide us, and Aragorn bade him gather his folk and come behind, if they dared, when the grey host had passed. But Pelargir, the heir of Isildur, will have need of you, he said. Thus we crossed over Gilrain, driving the allies of Mordor in rout before us. Then we rested a while, but soon Aragorn arose, saying, Lo, already Minas Tirith is assailed. I fear that it will fall ere we come to its aid. So we mounted again before night had passed, and went on with all the speed that our horses could endure over the plains of Lebanon. Legolas paused and sighed, and turning his eyes southward softly, he sang. Song alert.
Yep.
It's a short one, though.
Good.
Silver flow the streams from Telos to Erui in the green fields of Lebanon. Tall grows the grass there, and the wind from the sea. The white lilies sway, and the golden bells are shaken of Malos and Althirin. In the green fields of Lebanon, in the wind from the sea. Green are those fields in the songs of my people, but they were dark then, grey wastes in the blackness before us. And over the wide land, trampling unheeded the grass and flowers, we hunted our foes through a day and a night, until we came at the bitter end to the great river at last. Then I thought in my heart that we drew near to the sea, for wide was the water in the darkness, and sea birds innumerable cried on its shores. Alas, for the wailing of the gulls! Did not the lady tell me to beware of them? And now I cannot forget them. For my part, I heeded them not, said Gimli, for we came then at last upon battle in earnest. There at Pelargir lay the main fleet of Umbar, 50 great ships and smaller vessels beyond count. Many of those that we pursued had reached the havens before us, and brought their fear with them, and some of the ships had put off, seeking to escape down the river to reach the far shore, and many of the smaller craft were ablaze. But the Haradrim, now driven to the brink, turned at bay, and there they were fierce in despair, and they laughed when they looked on us, for they were a great army still. But Aragorn halted and cried with a great voice, Now come, by the Black Stone I call you. And suddenly the shadow host that had hung back at the last came up like a grey tide, sweeping all away before it. Faint cries I heard, and dim horns blowing, and a murmur as of countless far voices. It was like the echo of some forgotten battle in the dark years long ago. Pale swords were drawn. I know not whether their blades would still bite. The dead needed no longer any weapon but fear. None would withstand them. To every ship they came that was drawn up, and then they passed over the water to those that were anchored, and all the mariners were filled with a madness of terror and leaped overboard, save the slaves chained to the oars. Reckless we rowed among our fleeing foes, driving them like leaves until we came to the shore. And then to each of the great ships that remained, Aragorn sent one of the Dunedain, and they comforted the captives that were aboard, and bade them put aside fear and be free. Ere that dark day ended, none of the enemy were left to resist us. All were drowned, or were flying south in the hope to find their own lands upon foot. Strange and wonderful I thought it, that the designs of Mordor should be overthrown by such wraiths of fear and darkness. Its own weapons was it worsted.
Well
No.
told, Gimli. Good story.
Yeah.
You know, you
Strange
could have
indeed.
led with that. You could have been like, so there was the part that I hated, and then
I mean, the journey was nothing much. No need to talk about that. But let me tell you about the battle.
yeah, battle.
Strange indeed, said Legolas. In that hour I looked on Aragorn, and thought how great and terrible a lord he might have become, in the strength of his will, had he taken the ring to himself. Not for naught does Mordor fear him. But nobler is his spirit than the understanding of Sauron. For is he not of the children of Luthien? Never shall that line fail, though the years may lengthen beyond count. Beyond the eyes of the dwarves are such foretellings, said Gimli.
Could argue, but I won't.
But mighty indeed was Aragorn that day. Lo, all the black fleet was in his hands, and he chose the greatest ship to be his own, and he went up into it. Then he let sound a great concourse of trumpets taken from the enemy, and the shadow host withdrew to the shore. There they stood silent, hardly to be seen, save for a red gleam in their eyes that caught the glare of the ships that were burning. And Aragorn spoke in a loud voice to the dead men, crying, Hear now the words of the heir of Isildur. Your oath is fulfilled. Go back and trouble not the valleys ever again. Depart and be at rest. And thereupon the king of the dead stood out before the host, and broke his spear and cast it down. Then he bowed low and turned away, and swiftly the whole grey host drew on and vanished like a mist that is driven back by a sudden wind. And it seemed to me that I awoke from a dream.
Kind of a waste. I'm glad they used the dead for the siege at Minas Tirith too in the movie.
I was just thinking, like, and there's a whole argument some people make in the movie, like, well, why didn't they just get the dead to conquer Mordor? Which the answer is because they're things of terror and darkness, and Sauron would immediately be like, "Nah, actually, we're friends.
Yeah,
Come here, bro."
come here.
But yeah, it would be even sillier if they just got them the ships and then like left.
I feel like in the book, the fleet of the Umbars is much more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking an armada here, not like the half a dozen we saw in the movies. So
yeah.
So it would be more impressive to use the dead for that than
like, yes, get us these 3 ships. That's what I have conquered you and like come through all of this to do.
That's what you've waited for thousands of years.
And that night we rested while others labored, for there were many captives set free, and many slaves released who had been folk of Gondor taken in raids. And soon also there was a great gathering of men out of Lebanon and the Aether, and Angbor of Lamadon came up with all the horsemen that he could muster. Now that the fear of the dead
gone?
now that the fear of the dead was removed.
I got ruled.
Yes, you did. I was like, literally, I am halfway through the sentence. Hang on. They came to aid us and to look on the heir of Isildur, for the rumor of that name had run like fire in the dark. And that is near the end of our tale, for during that evening and night many ships were made ready and manned, and in the morning the fleet set forth. Long past it now seems, yet it was but the morn of the day before yesterday, the 6th since we rode from Dunharrow.
Everyone keeps track of time really well in these books.
I mean, I guess if you don't have a calendar, you pay attention to that kind of thing.
Right? You just have those synapses exercised. There's the whole conversation they had where Sam was like, wait a minute, why hasn't the moon changed? Like, did we can't possibly have spent a month in Lothlorien, could we? Like, yes, Sam, you spent a month in Lothlorien.
Well spotted. Yes, you did. Let's see. But still Aragorn was driven by fear that time was too short. It is 40 leagues and 2 from Pelargir to the landings at the Harlond, he said. Yet to the Harlond we must come tomorrow, or fail utterly.
Damn, that didn't work the way I wanted. All right, one more time.
Does the air dry clay giving you trouble?
No, I just so I have a very specific pattern on this leg, and I didn't quite match it.
Ah, I see.
But I gave myself too much clay to work with initially, so I can try to match it again without having to put on more.
Excellent.
Yes.
The oars were now wielded by free men, and manfully they labored. Yet slowly we passed up the great river, for we strove against its stream. And though that is not swift down in the south, we had no help of wind. Heavy would my heart have been for all our victory at the havens, if Legolas had not laughed suddenly. Up with your beard, Durin's son, he said. For thus it is spoken, oft hope is born when all is forlorn. But what hope he saw from afar he would not tell. When night came, it did but deepen the darkness, and our hearts were hot. For away in the north we saw a red glow under the cloud, and Aragorn said, Minas Tirith is burning. But at midnight hope was indeed born anew. Sea-crafty men of the Aether, gazing southward, spoke of a change coming with a fresh wind from the sea. Long ere day the masted ships hoisted sail, and our speed grew until dawn whitened the foam at our prows. And so it was, as you know. We came in the 3rd hour of the morning with a fair wind and the sun unveiled. We unfurled the great standard in battle. It was a great day and a great hour, whatever may come after.
Good times.
Good times. Great oldies.
I thought I was the only one who did that.
No, I think that's a thing from our shared childhood.
Okay.
Because that was the
92.9.
Yep. Oldies 92. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Good times, great oldies. Oh no. No. Okay, I will have to add a little more. Took off too much. It's okay. My order of operations is all screwy because I shouldn't have put the tail on yet, but the tail was the only thing keeping it standing up when its legs were all funky.
Ah.
So now the tail's in my way, but it's also still the only thing keeping it standing up when I need it to stand up.
Indeed, on account of how it only has 3 legs.
Yeah. Well, this leg would be risen anyway, but just it's out of balance without the tail. Anyway.
Follow what may, great deeds are not lessened in worth, said Legolas. Great deed was the writing of the paths of the dead, and great it shall remain, though none be left in Gondor to sing of it in the days that are to come. And that may well befall, said Gimli. The faces of Aragorn and Gandalf are grave. Much I wonder what counsels they are taking in the tents there below. For my part, like Merry, I wish that with our victory the war was now over. Yet whatever is still to do, I hope to have a part in it, for the honor of the folk of the Lonely Mountain. And I, for the folk of the Great Wood, said Legolas. It's fine. It's mediocre wood, but okay. And for the love of the Lord of the White Tree.
Yep.
Then the companions fell silent. But a while they sat there in the high place, each busy with his own thoughts, while the captains debated. When the Prince Imrahil had parted from Legolas and Gimli, who?
Yep.
At once he sent for Eomer.
That guy!
And he went down with him from the city, and they came to the tents of Aragorn that were set up on the field, not far from the place where King Theoden had fallen. And there they took counsel together with Gandalf and Aragorn and the sons of Elrond. My lords, said Captain, listen to the word. Did I say Captain?
Said Gandalf.
Said Gandalf.
Okay.
Thank you for recognizing my Gandalf voice.
I did. Yes.
Listen to the words of the steward of Gondor before he died. You may triumph on the fields of the Pelennor for a day, but against the power that has now arisen, there is no victory. I do not bid you despair, as he did, but to ponder the truth in these words. The stones of seeing do not lie, and not even the Lord of Barad-dûr can make them do so. He can, maybe, by his will, choose what things shall be seen by weaker minds, or cause them to mistake the meaning of what they see. Nonetheless, it cannot... What?
Bingo.
Got that done in time for bingo.
Oh, I haven't watched Merlin's Shop in so long. I need to do that. But we talked, right, about the fact that the night Denethor looked in the stone was the same night that Frodo was captured.
Yes, yeah, and that's why he despaired.
Yep. Yeah, all of his little veiled warnings about the power that has arisen were to say he's got the ring. I can't prove it, but I'm really, really sure. Like, really, really, really certain.
I saw them capture the ring bearer, so it's all over. Let's just die.
Yeah.
But in fact, we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
We will see what happens instead.
Right.
There we go. And let's see.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it cannot be doubted that when Denethor saw great forces arrayed against him in Mordor, and more still being gathered, he saw that which truly is. Hardly has our strength sufficed to beat off the first great assault. I'm sorry, you did what?
Yep. Colloquialisms change, especially naughty ones.
The next will be greater. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. This war, then, is without final hope, as Denethor perceived. Victory cannot be achieved by arms, whether you sit here. I mean, I think, in fact, if your goal is to beat off the enemy, victory can't be achieved by arms.
Hands, at least.
Whether you sit here to endure siege after siege, or march out to be overwhelmed beyond the river, you have only a choice of evils, and prudence would counsel you to strengthen such strong places as you have, and there await the onset, for so shall the time before your end be made a little longer. Then you would have us retreat to Minas Tirith, or Dol Amroth, or to Dun Harrow, and there sit like children on sandcastles when the tide is flowing, as said Imrahil. And that would be no new counsel, said Gandalf. Have you not done this and little more in all the days of Denethor? But no, I said this would be prudent. I do not counsel prudence.
Prudence is for pussies!
I said victory could not be achieved by arms. I still hope for victory, but not by arms. Yeah, okay. We got it, Gandalf.
Yep.
But
I like words, and I'm going to use as many as I can.
I say many things. For into the midst of all these policies comes the Ring of Power, the foundation of Barad-dûr, and the hope of Sauron. Concerning this thing, my lords, you now all know enough for the understanding of our plight and of Sauron's. If he regains it, your valor is vain, and his victory will be swift and complete. So complete that none can foresee the end of it while this world lasts. If it is destroyed, then he will fall, and his fall will be so low that none can foresee his arising ever again. For he will lose the best part of the strength that was native to him in his beginning. All that was made or begun with that power will crumble. He will be maimed forever, becoming a mere spirit of malice that gnaws itself in the shadows, but cannot again grow or take shape.
Occasionally
Which is an interesting
manifests
thing.
as- yeah.
What?
And occasionally manifests as just malice
Mm-hmm.
in general.
Like, they don't really discuss that in the movies, but Sauron is a Maiar. He can't die.
Right?
So yeah, when he gets reduced and, Barad-dûr falls and all that stuff, like, he's still around. He's just like an angry whisper.
Yeah. Saying, it's really embarrassing that you lost that election. Maybe you should pretend that you didn't. I mean, don't tell me it doesn't make sense.
I just lost my place. Okay, here we are. And so a great evil of this world will be removed. Other evils there are that may come, for Sauron is himself but a servant or emissary. Yet it is not our part to master all the tides of the world, but to do what is in us for the succor of those years wherein we are set.
Which is a
Uprooting the
much
evil.
fancier way of saying all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. It's like he'd been thinking about that sentence ever since, and he's like, thesaurus time.
Yes, but also it's a little bit more expansive because he's saying this is what we should do with this time.
Yeah.
Like, we're not here to save the world forever for the rest of eternity. We're here to save the things that we are able to save.
Yep.
Hang on. I'm going to finish reading it and then I have a comparison to make.
Okay.
But to do what is in us for the succor of those years wherein we are set, uprooting the evil in the fields that we know, so that those who live after may have clean earth to till. What weather they shall have is not ours to rule. So it reminds me of the famous quote from, I don't remember the rabbi's name, but it's you are not obligated to complete the work of fixing the world, but neither are you free to abandon it.
Yes, that's a really nice way to put it.
Now Sauron knows all this, and he knows that this precious thing which he lost has been found again, but he does not yet know where it is, or so we hope. And therefore he is now in great doubt. For if we have found this thing, there are some among us with strength enough to wield it. That too he knows. But do I not guess rightly, Aragorn, that you have shown yourself to him in the stone of Orthanc? And then he did the little helicopter dance, and neener, neener, neener.
Neener, neener, neener.
I did so.
I dick-picked the Dark Lord.
Also a good t-shirt design. Just a chibi Aragorn that says, I dick-picked the Dark Lord.
Yep.
And then, like, a chibi Sauron's eye in the background looking really horrified.
A chibi Sauron's eye is a hell of an order.
Okay, well, a Sauron's eye. I don't know. A
big
comic
anime eye.
Yes. Big upset anime.
Well, no, I've just got to.
You do. It is a moral imperative at this point.
Imperative.
I did so ere I rode from the Hornburg, answered Aragorn. I deemed that the time was ripe. Yeah, I bet you did. And that the stone had come to me for just such a purpose. It was then 10 days since the ring-bearer went east from Rauros, and the eye of Sauron, I thought, should be drawn out from his own land. Too seldom has he been challenged since he returned to his tower.
Though had I foreseen how swift would be his onset and answer, maybe I should not have dared to show myself. Bare time was given to me to come to your aid.
I mean, when you
But
say
how
fair
is...
time, you showed up late.
Yeah. That's what he means.
Yeah. Thank goodness I'm in time. There's 30,000 dead. But somebody's alive.
Pretty much. But how is this? Asked Eomer. All is vain, you say, if he has the ring. Why should he think it not vain to assail us if we have it? He is not yet sure, said Gandalf, and he has not built up his power by waiting until his enemies are secure, as we have done.
Burn!
Yeah. Also, we could not learn how to wield the full power all in a day. Indeed, it can be used only by one master alone, not by many. He will look for a time of strife ere one of the great among us makes himself master and puts down the others. In that time the ring might aid him if he was sudden. He is watching. He sees much and hears much. His Nazgul are still abroad. They passed over this field ere the sunrise, though few of the weary and sleeping were aware of them. He studies the signs, the sword that robbed him of his treasure remade, the winds of fortune turning in our favor, and the defeat unlooked for of his first assault, the fall of his great captain. It's interesting to picture what Sauron thinks must be happening, right? Like
Right.
Gandalf and Aragorn and who knows who else all fighting over the ring.
Right? I'll bet that he was willing to bet money that Aragorn took it and has it.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's the only way any of that makes sense.
Yep.
He's like, also the fact that Theoden is dead, so Theoden would not have been able to, like, Aragorn wouldn't protect Theoden with his power, kind of thing. You know, like it all
Mm-hmm.
it all works for the illusion.
Yeah, it all works for the illusion if you fundamentally fail to understand the nature of the people that you're dealing with, which is what Sauron does, and that's the like downfall of evil, is that he can't understand the idea of not being evil.
Right? It's it's said really quaintly in one of the Anne of Green Gables books, measuring her corn in his own half bushel and selling himself short. As such people always do.
That must be where the phrase "sell yourself short" comes from.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Maybe. I need to look it up now. Damn it!
Interesting. Let's see. Back to Sauron.
Is Sauron measuring someone else's corn in his own half bushel?
Picturing the eye with a basket. Like, his doubt will be growing even as we speak here. His eye is now straining towards us, blind almost to all else that is moving. So we must keep it. Therein lies all our hope. This then is my counsel. We have not the ring. In wisdom or great folly it has been sent away to be destroyed, lest it destroy us. Without it we cannot by force defeat his force. We must at all costs keep his eye from his true peril. We cannot achieve victory by arms, but by arms we can give the ring-bearer his only chance, frail though it be. As Aragorn has begun, so we must go on. We must push Sauron to his last throw. We must call out his hidden strength, so that he shall empty his land. We must march out to meet him at once. We must make ourselves the bait, though his jaws should close on us. He will take that bait in hope and in greed, but he will think that in such rashness he sees the pride of the new ring-lord. And he will say, so, he pushes out his neck too soon and too far. Let him come on, and behold, I will have him in a trap from which he cannot escape. There I will crush him, and what he has taken in his insolence shall be mine forever. All I could do was a Skeletor voice. I'm sorry. I felt it
marvelous.
in my heart.
That was a very Mark Hamill Skeletor, not the original Skeletor.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Oh, absolutely.
What was I going to say about things and stuff and things? Oh, this is the point in the movie where Legolas goes, a diversion.
Diversion. Yes, Leggy, that is what we have been discussing at length.
Thank you for catching up with the class, honey. Do you want a juice box?
I always picture Dom DeLuise being like, yeah, you do that. Yeah.
We must walk open-eyed into that trap with courage, but small hope for ourselves. For, my lords, it may well prove that we ourselves shall perish utterly in a black battle far from the living lands. So that
You know
even
what
if Barad
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
so that even if Barad-dûr be thrown down, we shall not live to see a new age. But this I deem is our duty, and better so than to perish none the less, as we surely shall if we sit here, and know as we die that no new age shall be. What were you going to say?
I often wonder what Sauron thought of his captured spy. Like he clearly thought that Frodo was a spy. That's how the mouth of Sauron will describe him. But it's like, what did you think he thought he was doing?
Right. Like
Maybe
spying
he
on
just
what?
thought he was spying out the numbers. That would actually make sense. Like how many
Mhm.
armies are there actually? I am a small and dispensable human. If I can, or person, if I can come back with the numbers, then that's useful to the new Ring Lord, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Or just generally, maybe because this seems like it would be on track with how Sauron thinks. Send out a dispensable person of whatever sort to spy and see what happens to him.
Ah, yes.
And just, see what your enemy feels like doing.
Yeah. Yeah. See what he's capable of emotionally.
Yeah. One moment. Sorry, my nail, press-on nail, is falling off, so I have removed it.
Oh dear.
Sorry, the broken nail is mostly grown out to almost where it needs to be, so
Cool.
be okay. It's also looks really gross because it's covered in glue, but
Let me see the gross nail.
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
You can't really see it too well, but
Right.
yeah, it has a texture.
Person.
It's much grosser in person, yes.
Check.
Not as gross as it was when I broke it, though.
I'm going to call this leg done because I can't get it any closer to perfect without taking it all apart and starting over, and no one's going to give a crap about the back leg. It's not a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to drive yourself crazy if you take that apart. Please maintain such sanity as you care to continue to possess.
Ah, yes. Will do, thank you.
Like, I'm not going to tell you to keep all your sanity. That's not my decision. Just however much of it you want.
Just remember that some is useful.
Just a little could be handy. They were silent for a while. At length Aragorn spoke. As I have begun, so I will go on. We come now to the very brink where hope and despair are akin. To waver is to fall. Let none now reject the counsels of Gandalf, whose long labors against Sauron come at last to their test. But for him, all would long ago have been lost. Nonetheless, I do not yet claim to command any man. Let others choose as they will. Then said Elrohir, From the north we came with this purpose, and from Elrond our father we brought this very counsel. We will not turn back. Yeah, we've been saying that, guys. We've been telling you.
Although, I don't know, man. Boys, go on a suicide mission. I don't...
No, I can see that, actually.
Because it is Elrond, after all.
It is Elrond, and what was he going to say? Boys, don't go on a suicide mission?
Right. Someone's got to go on a suicide mission, so it better be you.
Right? Like, who in his lineage has ever not gone on a suicide mission when going on a suicide mission was an option?
Point.
I'm just saying.
Yep. That is the God, their bloodline doesn't have a last name, do they? It's not
I don't
like
think so.
Smith. I mean, agent is what I'm thinking, right? Right? Agent.
Oh, I thought you just picked a random nondescript name. I was gonna say
I
like
totally
Elrond
did, and then I
Jenkins.
remember that he has been Smith.
He has been Smith, yeah. I like Jenkins. It just
Jenkins.
feels right to me. Or
Elrond
like
Jenkins. Hubbard. Elrond Hubbard. Yeah.
As for myself, said Aemir, I have little knowledge of these deep matters, but I need it not. This I know, and it is enough. That as my friend Aragorn succored me and my people, I succored as in helped, not succored as in conned. To be clear here, I'm not good at pronouncing that word, so
No,
I
good.
will aid him when he calls. I will go. As for me, said Imrahil, Lord Aragorn I hold to be my liege lord, whether he claim it or no. His wish is to me a command. I will go also. Yet for a while I stand in the place of the steward of Gondor, and it is mine to think first of its people. To prudence some heed must still be given, for we must prepare against all chances, good as well as evil. Now it may be that we shall triumph, and while there is any hope of this, Gondor must be protected. I would not have us return with victory to a city in ruins and a land ravaged behind us. Yeah, how mad would you be?
That would be so Greek. That would be so Theseus.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Thank you for not doing that, my man Tolkien.
Although he did a bit with the Scouring of the Shire, but we're not there yet.
Right.
And it's different.
It is different because it's not permanent.
Yeah. And yet we learn from the Rohirrim that there is an army still unfought upon our northern flank. That is true, said Gandalf. I do not counsel you to leave the city all unmanned. Indeed, the force that we lead east need not be great enough for any assault in earnest upon Mordor, so long as it be great enough to challenge battle, and it must move soon. Therefore I asked the captains, what force could we muster and lead out in 2 days' time at the latest? And they must be hardy men that go willingly, knowing their peril. How many people can you get for a suicide mission in 2 days? Go.
Yeah.
All are weary.
Bachelors, hopefully let them be bachelors.
I doubt they have many bachelors left at this point.
Right? Shit.
All are weary, and very many have wounds light or grievous, said Aemir. And we have suffered much loss of our horses, and that is ill to bear. If we must ride soon, then I cannot hope to lead even 2,000, and yet leave as many for the defense of the city. We have not only to reckon with those who fought on this field, said Aragorn. New strength is on the way from the southern fiefs, now that the coasts have been rid. 4,000 I sent marching from Pelargir through Lossarnach 2 days ago, and Angbor the Fearless rides before them.
If he's the Fearless, why the fuck wasn't he at the siege?
Well, because he had pirates. Remember,
yeah.
the ships were in his town.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If we set out in 2 days more, they will draw nigh ere we depart. Moreover, many were bidden to follow me up the river in any craft they could gather, and with this wind they will soon be at hand. Indeed, several ships have already come to the Harlond. I judged that we could lead out 7,000 of horse and foot, and yet leave the city in better defense than it was when the assault began. The gate is destroyed, said Imrahil, and where now is the skill to rebuild it and set it up anew? In Erebor, in the kingdom of Dane, there is such skill, said Aragorn. And if all our hopes do not perish, then in time I will send Gimli Gloin's son to ask for rights of the mountain. But men are better than gates, and no gate will endure against our enemy if men desert it.
If men are better than Gates, then why did they invent Gates?
Because men get tired and they want to sit down. Also, if you put hinges on a man, he complains.
So does a gate if you let it get rusty.
That's true. If you squirt a man with an oil can, he also complains.
God, men complain a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
Yep.
This then was the end of the debate of the lords, that they should set forth on the second morning from that day with 7,000, if these might be found. Oh, hang on, it's 8:03. I lost track of time. Okay. We're gonna end with the debate about men versus Gates.
Men versus Gates.
And have you been seeing any spoilers about the Rings of Power show, or are you planning to watch it?
I saw the spoiler about what's his butt turning out to be Sauron, and I thought, well, that's disappointing.
I think it's kind of an interesting choice from what I've seen of the spoilers.
Yeah.
But I also haven't seen any of the show, and I'm probably not going to. So I have a Plato's Allegory of the Cave knowledge of it.
Oh yeah. Well, likewise. I've seen shadows of it on the wall. It's just that no harm to the or no derision to the actor. I'm sure he did a great job, but just like most of the casting and makeup and stuff, they all look so fucking ordinary. And Celebrimbor and especially Sauron was supposed to be like gorgeous. Like, oh my god, I love you. Can you take a picture with my baby? Like you're so pretty. That was part of his mystique. Until he lost his body in Numenor and then tried to rebuild one and discovered he could only be ugly and was really pissed about it. But the dude just looks so normal.
I think he's supposed to be Sauron post Numenor, I thought.
In which case it's still not right.
Because he's not ugly. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
yeah,
there we go. But
I might watch it someday. I might not.
I thought the fact that he was like, "Come be my queen" to Galadriel made the scene where she rejects the ring more interesting later on.
Yeah, that could
Like,
that's a good
that adds
retcon.
some layers.
Sure. But yeah, it didn't grab me. And I am a spoiled brat and I want to be grabbed by my media.
There's plenty of media out there that will grab you. There's no point in wasting your time on ungrabbing media.
Right? And fortunately, I'm not the only consumer of media there is. So there's plenty of people who enjoy the show. I don't have to be one of them for it to be successful.
Exactly. We'll just be over here doing our own show.
Oh, yeah.
And possibly drawing a chibi Sauron.
I will make that a thing now. On my to-do list is a Redbubble shop, so I'm gonna see what I can do and then put it on Redbubble. So it might come as a coffee cup. I don't know.
I love it.
All right.
I'm 100% in. All right. Well, love you. I'll see you next week.
Yes, indeed. Cuidado.
Llamas.
Bye.
Bye.